Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. You're with me Arun Sharma, and in this video I'm answering some questions. One of the key questions a lot of you have been asking me, specifically for CAT 22, given the fact that we are in April, and the work-ex question specifically. And work-ex question में most common question मेरे को आ रहा है आजकल, the most common question I'm getting these days is I'm working in a job and I'm not getting time to prepare. So what should I do? Should I quit the job? What are the implications of that? What are the problems that will have on my profile and my biodata and in my interview? So I wanted to answer that question in a separate video, which is why I'm doing this one for you guys. So when you talk about work-ex, work-ex has a double impact in your selection process for CAT or for any top B school. The first impact, in fact, it has a triple impact on your selection process. The first impact it has is at the shortlisting point, where apart from your CAT score, you have weightages on the number of months or the number of years of work-ex you've got. So that's the first impact you have. The second impact you have, the second impact that work-ex has on your selection process is at the point of the interview. There's again a weightage for your final conversion after you're shortlisted from CAT and you go to an interview and you go to the GD process, if there's a GD or a VAT process, if there is one. When you go there and you then perform in the group discussion interview and VAT process, and then the final shortlist of who's being offered a job comes out. So at that point, work-ex takes the role that it again has a clear weightage attached to it. So if you've got certain number of months of work-ex, most B school will give you some additional points at the final selection point. So there's a weightage at the shortlisting point. There's a weightage at the final selection point. And the third weightage you'll have if you have work-ex, or the third impact you'll have if you have work-ex, is that when you go to the interview, there is questions that will be asked of you. When you go into the interview, the questions that will be asked of you will typically become a little bit easier if you are a working professional, because if you're a student who has gone into an interview of a B school, they expect you to know about they expect you to know about your subject very well, and most of the questions, a lot of the questions that will be asked of you will be about your subject, because what are you doing, where are you from, and what are you doing is one of the themes on which the interview is built. So if you're not working, most of the questions will be from your subjects of graduation, and as you know, none of us have ever been. Most of us are not really so comfortable with our graduation subjects that we can actually talk to people and impress someone there. So that becomes a challenge for a lot of people who do not have work-ex. But if you have work-ex, you've been working for a couple of years, then the questions shift, the theme of the questions shift from what you have done in your graduation to what are you doing in your work, and your achievements and your learnings and your failures and your realizations during your work experience. So that's the third impact work-ex has. Now, if you try to think about, okay, now the key decision point that I'm trying to address right now is I'm working, I've got, let's say, anywhere 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 15 months, 28 months experience now in April, and I'm looking at CAT in 2022, 7 months left, and I'm struggling because my working hours do not allow me to study properly, and I'm struggling to cover my portion, and hence there are a lot of problems I'm having, and I'm not satisfied with the way I'm preparing because I'm working, and I feel that I should give up on my work. So, but I'm scared about what will it do to the impact it will create at those 3 points. So let me answer that one by one. So first of all, you need to understand that when the CAT form is filled, it's filled normally in August. So the number of months of work experience they consider at the point of shortlisting is till the end of July. So for CAT 22, your work experience will be covered till July end 22. So since your work experience will be till July 31st, and experience of August, September, October will not really be counted in your weightage for your shortlisting at the after the CAT for the interview shortlists. Hence, if you take an option that okay, April है, अभी मैं quit कर जाता हूँ, एक महीने का नोटिस मेरे को देना है, 2 महीने का नोटिस देना है, तो अप्रैल एंड या मे एंड तक I'll quit my job and I'll give it 6 months completely to prepare for this exam. Fair call, because what are you losing in terms of the interview point, in terms of the points for selection of the interview? You're losing, instead of 28 months of experience, you'll have 26 months of experience if you quit in May. So when you're filling a form in August, your work experience will change by 2 months. It will be less by 2 months. And then if you can actually compensate that 2 months loss of work experience, actually having a very strong prep process, a prep cycle, that's perfectly okay. And anyway, I personally believe that most of you who are going for a management degree, you are not really you're not really very serious about the career you have right now. You want to actually, you are going to a B school because you want to switch the career, switch the industry, switch the kind of work you're doing, and hence you really don't need to. You're not married to your job, and hence giving up that job does not really make much of a problem. Does not create much of a problem. And the other factor you should understand. So for your interview shortlisting, quitting a job 2 months before July is perfectly okay, because 2 months does not, it'll add a few decimal points in your uh, in the weightage section of the shortlisting criteria, but that can be easily overcome by the major amount of points you'll score by doing well in the CAT because you prepared better. That's one part of it. The other part you need to understand is that, okay, you quit a job in May, how long do you need to be out of a job? So I would typically tell you that you can ideally start taking up a job again in October or November, because if your CAT preparation has gone well, by October your mock test will be working and you'll be scoring a decent amount of score in the exam. And anyway, CAT is not an exam, or MBA entrance is not an exam where you study in the last 15 days or so. Your preparation has to be over by end of October, and whatever you're scoring, very rare that end of October you're scoring 95 out of 198 marks, and end of November CAT may you score 130. So utna jump nahi aata hai last month mein, unlike your college exams where the last month studies was most important. So you can pick up a job again in October, November. So what it shows, and that job can be a switch of industry, that job can be within the same industry, it doesn't matter. What it shows is that on your profile, when you go to the interviews in February, March, April, you are no longer a sit-at-home aspirant. You were somebody who was in a job, but you had taken a sabbatical of 5-6 months. I mean, typically, even if you look at it from a change of job scenario, 2-3 months का scenario तो रहता है change of job में. When you quit a job, you take a 1 month or 2 month break before you join the next one. So instead of a 2 month break, it's a 5 month break or a 6 month break. So you can explain it away as a break, that I wanted to spend some time with myself. I wanted some leisure time with myself before I went to moved on to my next job, and that's why I quit. So October, November is something, if you're not very comfortable psychologically taking up a job just before CAT, then join a job on 1st December. So what happens is, in the second point of impact, when you go to the interview and they calculate the WorkX points, you're just losing August, September. I mean, 2 months you lost here, June, July, and you're losing August, September, October, November, 4 months more. So your WorkX number of months is 6 months less than it would have been if you had just continued working. It doesn't matter much. I mean, I don't think interviews take a big umbrage to somebody with 24 months of experience versus somebody with 30 months of experience. ऐसा कोई difference नहीं होता. उसमें थोड़ा points you lose, but of course also you need to understand there's a sweet spot, and in case if you continue working, your WorkX is going between above 36 months, so a lot of institutes drop their scores or drop their weightages after 36 months. Your weightage or your score points allocated for WorkX keeps going up, and then they stagnate or they drop also in some cases after 36. So if it's crossing 36 because you're continuing to work, it's a no-brainer. You just quit the job immediately, because anyway you're going to B school next year, and hopefully your dream B school gets cracked next year. So you're not really bothered about continuing the work here, and the monetary loss you'll have for 6 months of not working will be very small compared to what you learn if you get to a decent B school later. So that's point number 2. And of course, if you're picking up a job again in December and continuing to work there after December, then the third point, the questions in the interview are again related to what you're doing and what the work X is, and they're not going to go back to academics so much. So hence, is the sweet decision to actually take to quit your job. So if I was in your place, working with let's say 12, 14, 18, 24, 28 months of experience, I would quit my job in April, May, and I would pick up the next job in December, and I would give my best shot to my preparation during this time. I hope this helps. Do like, share, subscribe, and comment on the videos so that we get the YouTube algorithm advantage. We're doing a lot of work for you now, and you can expect a lot of things coming up on the channel. Thank you so much. Bye bye.